Hello student, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video, we are discussing new topic, new chapter, laws of motion. Topics to be covered in this chapter are Aristotle fallacy and Galileo law observation, Newton's first law of motion, inertia, inertia of rest, inertia of motion, momentum, Newton's second law of motion and derivation of F equal to m into a. Some important points about second law: impulse, importance of impulse in practice, Newton's third law of motion, application, example of third law, horse and cart problem, law of conservation of linear momentum, equilibrium of particle, common forces in mechanics, friction, static friction, kinetic friction and rolling friction, method of reducing friction, circular motion, bending of cyclists, car on level circular road and car on banked circular road, solving problems in mechanics. We will talk about each topic one by one and I'll provide you video of every topic. So let's start this video. In this video we will discuss on topic Newton's first law of motion and inertia. So let's think of what caused motion. We have already discussed our previous chapters that motion is nothing but change in position of an object with respect to time, right? So what causes of object to move? External force needed to move the object, right? To make a stationary body to move. You think of any example around you. Let's take example. In order to change the state of rest of a football to motion, a player has to kick it. To change the direction of moving shuttlecock, one has to hit it with badminton racket, right? Leaves of the tree swings by action of winds. To stop a box sliding down on an inclined plane, one has to apply some force in the direction opposite to that of the motion of the box, right? So these example indicates that in order to change the state of rest or motion of an object, an external agency has to apply some action in the form of push or pull, and this push or pull action is termed as force, right? Is termed as force. Okay, so we thus define force as an action in the form of push or pull exerted by an external agency which tends to produce motion in a body at rest. If you want to make a body in motion, either you have to push that body or pull that body. Means force can make a rest body in motion, right? And if object is moving in straight line, when we applied force on the object, it changes its direction. Or to change the direction of a moving shuttlecock, one has to hit it with the badminton racket, right? So force can change the direction of object. Force can change direction, and force can make a moving object in rest position. force can change the shape or orientation of a body, right? So to apply force on an object, the external agency need not be in contact with the object. In fact, some forces can be exerted from a distance also. The forces which can be exerted upon an object from a distance are called non-contact forces, right? We define forces in two categories. One is contact forces, another is non-contact forces. Contact forces, second is non-contact forces. Contact forces, as the name suggests, when two objects are in contact, the force come into play called contact forces. Example of contact forces are friction force, friction, viscous, right? Friction force, viscous force, normal reaction, tension force. These are some example of contact force. Non-contact force, this force come into play when objects are not in physically contact with each other, right? These forces can be exerted upon an object from a distance. These are called non-contact forces. To understand this, consider this object is thrown from this building. We see that this object is moving down, right? This object always moves towards the earth's surface. The acceleration of marble object in downward direction due to the gravitational pull of the earth. So this force is called gravitational force. Another example of non-contact force is magnetic force, right? Magnetic force, electric force, You must have observed that given bar magnet would attract iron filling even from a distance. Similarly, electrostatic force or electric force are example of non-contact force. So I think these points are clear to you. So what about uniform motion? I hope all of you are aware of the uniform motion. What is uniform motion? Uniform motion means if objects move equal distance in equal intervals of times. Object with constant speed is called uniform motion. So Aristotle presented his views about motion of object. According to Aristotle theory, an external force is required to keep a body in motion, and it was proved wrong by Galileo Galilei and Isaac Newton. Okay, so according to Aristotle, if a body is moving, an external force is required to keep it in motion. Based on this view, he developed an elaborate framework of idea upon motion of object in universe. Consider an example of a child dragging a toy car. This is a toy car and child is dragging this toy car, right? When he release the string, the toy car will automatically come to rest, right? Means the force friction force is exerted on the car in opposite direction. This means to move the car, child has to apply a force and counter this force of friction. So when the car is moving with uniform speed in a straight line, the force exerted by child is balanced by the force of friction. Hence, no external force acts on the object when it is in uniform motion, right? no external force acts on object when it is moving in uniform motion. In uniform motion, right? So to understand the Galileo observation, just see in this example. Galileo observed in his observation that he take two inclined plane. The ball is released from one inclined plane, and then we see that the ball reaches the same height on the other inclined plane, right? So ball is released from the rest on the one plane. It rolls down and climbs up to the other. In the absence of friction, the height of the ball on both the planes are the same, right? So he told that when a sphere was rolled up the inclined plane, its speed decreased. When it rolled down, its speed increased, right? So Galileo stated that when the given plane slope neither upward nor downward, the body shows neither retardation nor acceleration. This means an object moving on a horizontal surface should have a uniform motion, right? In practical situation, the height on the second plane is always little but never greater. In this case, we see that a ball is released and it reaches in the same height, right? And the second case, when the slope of the inclined is reduced, we see that the ball reaches on the same height. And in case third, when the inclination was further reduced, finally in the limiting case, when the slope of second plane is reduced to 0, that is horizontal, the ball would never stop. Never stop. However, this is an ideal situation in which friction plays no role in affecting the motion of the ball. In practical situation, friction acts in opposite direction and motion finally ceases. Thus, Galileo arrived at important conclusion on the motion of object. He finally proved that state of rest and state of uniform linear motion are equivalent and no net force acts on a body in both situations, right? So, the ball released from rest in case 1 reaches the same height on the other in the absence of friction. In case 2, the ball reaches the same height on the other side in the absence of friction but travels long distance. And in case 3, which is limiting case, the ball rolls down and continues to move in the horizontal direction through infinite distance in the absence of friction. So Galileo arrived at a new insight that the state of rest and state of motion are equivalent, right? In both cases, there is no net force acting on the body, right? In fact, an external force is applied to simply cancel the effect of friction acting on the body due to the surface. This formed the basis of current study of laws of motion and force acting on the object. So therefore, there is no need to apply an external force to keep a body in uniform motion, right? We need to apply external force only to encounter the frictional or any other force, so that the forces sum up to zero net external force, right? So to summarize, if the net external force is zero, a body continues to remain at rest and a body in uniform motion with uniform velocity. So this property of a body is called inertia, right? So what is inertia? Inertia means resistance to change. Means it is the property, it is the inherent property of all bodies by virtue of which they tend to resist any change in their present state, rest or uniform motion, is known as the inertia, right? Galileo law of inertia. A body does not change its state of rest or of uniform motion unless an external force applied to change its state, right? Newton built up the ideas expressed by Galileo and laid the foundation of mechanics. He extended the idea of Galileo and formulated the three laws of motion. First law of motion was directly derived from the law of inertia. So according to this law, every body continued to be in its state of rest or of uniform motion in a straight line unless and until compelled by an external force to change its state of rest of uniform motion, right? In simple word, if the net external force on a body is zero, its acceleration is zero, or acceleration can be non-zero only if there is a net external force on the body. You see, in this example, a block is kept on the table. The force due to its weight is acting downward and normal reaction is acting upward, exerted by the table, right? So since the block is at rest, the normal reaction must be equal and opposite to its weight. So net force on it is zero, right? And in this case, the blocks remain at rest, and when we apply force, it moves, right? So the block remain at rest unless until it is acted upon by an external force. Let's see another example. The ball is continue to be in uniform motion until or unless it is acted upon by an external force, right? Ball is moving in a uniform motion. It continue to be in that motion until we apply an external force on the ball, right? And in this case, the car continue to be in uniform motion in the absence of an external force. Means in this case, car is moving in a uniform motion. It will continue to be in this motion until external force is applied on the car. Let's talk about inertia. As I told you, inertia is the inherent property of a body due to which it resists a change in its state of rest or of uniform motion, right? So inertia can be understood in parts by inertia of rest, inertia of motion, and inertia of direction. Mass is measure of inertia of a body. right? Mass of a body is measure of inertia possessed by it. Means larger the mass, greater is the inertia. Heavier object have more inertia than the lighter object. Example, stone of size of a football has more inertia than the football. A cricket ball has more inertia than a rubber ball of the same size. Right? So let's discuss about parts of inertia one by one. First is inertia of rest. Inertia of rest is the tendency of a body to resist any change in state of rest. Right? For example, when a bus suddenly start moving in forward, right? Then the passenger standing in it falls backward. Why this is happening? This happening because as the bus start to move, the lower part of the passenger's body start moving along with the bus as his feet are in contact with the bus, right? But upper part of a body tends to remain in the state of rest due to its inertia. So he falls backward, right? This is the example of carom board. Let's see in this case what happened. This part remain same, but last coin go in this hole due to the rest of inertia, right? And in this example, see, a card is kept on a tumbler and a 5 rupees coin is kept on a card, right? Let's see, this coin falls down in the tumbler due to the rest of inertia. Example of inertia of rest, passenger in bus jerks backward when the bus starts suddenly because the passenger stands to be in inertia of rest, whereas the bus is moved away forcefully, right? When a bedsheet is flicked away suddenly, dust particles fall away as they tend to be in inertia of rest, right? When a branch of tree is carrying a mango is suddenly flicked, mango falls off due to the inertia of rest. So these are some examples of inertia of rest. Let's talk about inertia of motion. Inertia of motion is it is tendency of an object of a body. Tendency of a body to resist any change, right? To resist any change in state of motion, in its state of uniform motion, right? Uniform motion. Uniform motion along a straight line. A straight line. Clear? For example, let's see first example. A passenger in a bus jerks forward when the bus stops suddenly because the passenger stands to be in inertia of motion, whereas the bus is stopped forcefully. Let's understand this example. When a moving bus brakes to stop, right? When a moving bus brakes to stop, the passenger falls in forward direction. This happens because as the bus stops, the lower part of the passenger's body comes to rest along with the bus as it is in contact with the bus, right? But upper part of a body tends to remain in a state of motion due to the inertia. So he falls forward direction. So I hope this point is clear to you. Second example is An athlete after reaching the finishing point cannot stop suddenly, or if he stops suddenly, then he falls topping head down. Right? Car takes some time and moves through some more distance before coming to rest even after the application of brakes. Rotation of a fan continues to be so for some more time even after the current is switched off. An oscillating simple pendulum bob does not halt at the mean position but continues to move further. So these are some example of inertia of motion. Let's talk about inertia of direction. These are some more example of inertia of motion. When a car or bus turns around a sharp corner, these are example of inertia of direction, right? When a car or bus turns around a sharp corner, we tend to fall sideways because of our inertia to continue to move in a straight line. So what is inertia of direction? Inertia of direction is the inability of a body to change its direction of motion by itself. Example, when a bus moving along a straight road takes a sharp turn, right? Then the passenger inside the bus tends to fall away from the center of the curved path. This happens due to their tendency to move in their original direction, right? Another example, it is dangerous to jump out of a moving bus because the jumping man's body is in the state of inertia of motion, but the legs are suddenly stopped by ground and hence he topples down. So it was something about Newton's first law of motion and inertia. In next video, we will learn Newton's second law of motion and momentum. Thank you. Like and subscribe this channel for more videos.